Deep in a bustling meadow, under the shade of a giant dandelion, lived a little ant named Andy. Andy was just like any other ant in his colony, hardworking, dedicated, and always on the lookout for the next big score for the queen. But Andy had a secret ambition. He didn't just want to be another face in the crowd. He wanted to be known, to be popular. He dreamed of being the ant everyone talked about, the one who brought back the most impressive treasures. One bright, sunny morning, Andy's antennae twitched with excitement. He spotted it from afar, the biggest, plumpest grain of wheat he had ever seen. It was golden, perfectly formed, and at least 3 times his size. This was it. This was his ticket to fame. If he could haul this magnificent grain back to the anthill all by himself, everyone would surely be impressed. His name would be sung in the tunnels for weeks. With a heart full of determination, Andy scurried over to the giant grain. He gripped it with his mandibles, planted his 6 tiny feet firmly on the ground, and pulled. Nothing. He repositioned himself, digging his heels into the soft earth, and pulled again, with all his might. The grain barely budged. It tilted slightly, then settled right back into its spot. Andy grunted and strained, his little body trembling with effort. But the grain was simply too heavy, too immense for one small ant. Panting and a little discouraged, Andy realized he couldn't do this alone. He needed help. Just then, he saw a group of flashy-looking beetles strutting by. They had shiny, iridescent shells and moved with an air of cool confidence. These were the popular bugs of the meadow, the ones who always seemed to be at the center of attention. Andy thought, if I could get them to help me, not only will I get the wheat, but everyone will see me with the cool crowd. He nervously approached them. "Excuse me," he chirped, trying to sound as cool as they looked. "I found this incredible grain of wheat, but it's a bit too heavy for me. Would you mind giving me a hand? We could all share the glory." The lead beetle, whose shell shimmered with shades of green and purple, glanced down at Andy, then at the wheat. He chuckled, a low, rumbling sound. "Glory? Kid, we don't work for glory. We work for... well, we don't really work." His friends laughed along with him. "That looks like a lot of effort," another one chimed in. "We're on our way to sip nectar from the honeysuckles. Much more fun. Good luck with your big rock." They sauntered off, leaving Andy standing there, feeling small and foolish. Dejected, Andy sat down beside the grain of wheat. His dream of glory was fading fast. As he sat there, a delicate ladybug with bright red wings and 7 perfect black spots landed gently beside him. "Having some trouble there, little guy?" she asked in a kind voice. Andy sighed. "Yes. I thought if I brought this back, everyone would think I was special. I even asked the cool beetles for help, but they just laughed at me." The ladybug smiled warmly. "Being special isn't about being seen with a certain crowd," she said softly. "It's about who's there for you when you actually need them. You know, you have friends who would help you in a heartbeat." Andy looked up, puzzled. "I do?" "Of course," she replied. "What about your colony? The friends you've worked with every single day?" Her words hit Andy like a tiny pebble. He thought of his old friends. Sammy, the ever-dependable aunt who always knew the shortest route back home. Millie, who could lift almost anything with her surprising strength. And Ben, the cheerful one who always had a joke to lighten the mood. He had been so focused on impressing new, flashy bugs that he had completely forgotten about the loyal friends who were always by his side. A wave of shame washed over him. With a new sense of purpose, Andy thanked the wise ladybug and raced back towards the anthill. He found Sammy, Millie, and Ben organizing a line of ants carrying smaller seeds. He felt a lump in his throat as he approached them. "Guys," he began, his voice a little shaky. I need your help. And I'm sorry." He explained everything, his foolish quest for popularity, his encounter with the beetles, and his struggle with the giant grain of wheat. He expected them to be annoyed, that they just listened patiently. When he finished, Sammy clapped him on the back. "Andy, we're a team. You should have just asked us from the start." Millie flexed her front legs. "A giant grain of wheat, you say? Sounds like a challenge. I'm in." Ben grinned. "Of course, we'll help you. What are friends for? Besides, moving a giant grain sounds way more fun than sorting these tiny seeds." A huge weight lifted off Andy's shoulders. Together, the four friends marched back to the prized wheat. This time, things were different. They worked as a unit, a perfectly synchronized team. Millie took the heavy front, using her incredible strength to lift. Sammy directed from the side, shouting out commands. "A little to the left. Now, push all together." Ben, at the back, kept everyone's spirits up with his endless supply of encouraging words and silly songs. And Andy, right in the thick of it, pushed and pulled alongside his friends, his heart swelling with gratitude. It was still hard work. They strained and sweated, but this time the grain moved. Slowly but surely, it rolled forward. Inch by inch, they maneuvered it across the meadow, over twigs and under leaves. Other ants from the colony saw their struggle and rushed to join in. Soon, a whole line of ants was pushing the massive grain, a testament to their incredible teamwork. When they finally arrived at the entrance to the anthill with the magnificent prize, a huge cheer erupted from the colony. The queen herself came out to see the spectacle. She praised their effort, their unity, and their strength. Andy was indeed the center of attention, but not in the way he had imagined. He wasn't being celebrated for doing it alone. He was being celebrated as part of a team, surrounded by the friends who had made it all possible. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the meadow, Andy stood with Sammy, Millie, and Ben, watching their colony work together to store the giant grain. He looked at his friends, their faces tired but beaming with pride, and he finally understood. Popularity was fleeting, like the morning dew, but true friendship, the kind that shows up when you're struggling with a heavy burden, was solid and dependable. It was the real treasure. He hadn't just brought home a grain of wheat that day. He had rediscovered something far more valuable: the unwavering support and love of his old friends. And that was a feeling better than any fame he could have ever imagined. Thanks for watching our story today. If you enjoyed Andy's adventure, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming tailies. We'll see you next time.